Okay, Pasha, Natasha, thank you for being here.
What's up?
How are you guys doing? Good?
I'm exhausted because the release is quite soon, but thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. How soon is the release?
It's 1 week away at the time of recording, so quite soon.
Okay, so are you feeling tired? You feeling stressed? Or are you feeling excited?
I think I don't feel anything at all after years of working, but that's... we can ask questions about the work-life balance, the non-existing balance.
Right. The famous crunch in the video game industry.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Natasha? How are you feeling?
I think I'm okay. Maybe just a little bit nervous, but in general, normal.
Okay.
How do you feel?
I am excited. There's still a lot going on in like the last couple of days, weeks, like leading up to release. But I'm optimistic. It's all gonna work out. It's fine. It's okay.
It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
I asked the community if they wanted to ask you some questions.
I bet they did.
They did. Let's start with a question from Discord from somebody called Phoenix, aka the Star Thief. They're asking what was the main inspiration behind Peppered and how did it come to be?
I think one of the things that put the initial idea in my head was when I was playing Super Mario 3D World, if you can believe that, years ago, and I played it with my sister when we tried to 100% it. And I think it was the closest point with me and my little sister when we almost murdered each other during the final levels.
Murdered?
Yes.
Okay.
Because those final levels in Super Mario was just brutally insane. And we spent like 2 weeks going back to it day after day, trying to beat the final level. And when we finally did, the only thing the game rewarded us with was this giant message in colorful letters. Thank you for playing. And I don't remember the last time I was so upset by the game. And I started thinking back to all the platforming games that I played as a kid, which demanded insane dedication and time, and basically rewarded you with nothing. Jak and Daxter did it, Crash Bandicoot did it. They all demanded like 100% completion for a secret ending, which turned out to be nothing at all. And I thought to myself, what would be the best way to show a giant middle finger to this entire genre altogether? And that's where the idea for Pepper came to be initially.
So basically you wanted to get back to the game developers for like messing with you and like leaving you with nothing.
Destroyed my childhood. Yeah, no, it came out of spite. So I guess the answer is spite. That's where
Wonderful. That's where all the best inspiration comes from.
I guess.
Okay, and then how did you get started?
I mean, it wasn't like special or anything, because as it stands now, you can learn anything on the internet whenever you want. So there was no like special sign from the gods or whatever. There was no like fanfare going, you're a video game developer now. No, I just randomly started learning how to code, how to work in Unity, how does level design work, and just started gradually learning it until I was confident enough in my skills that I realized, yes, I can in fact make a video game by myself. Well, almost. Because
Right.
one thing I didn't want to learn is how to draw.
Right, and that's where you come in, Natasha. You were working on like graphic design for the video game industry before Peppered already?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the game you worked on before?
The game called Black Skylands, and it's top-down shooter, and that's a place when I developed my skills in pixel graphic. So yeah, that was the first experience.
Nice. And then when did you get involved in the Peppered project?
Somewhere in the middle of previous developing. So
7 years ago.
7 years ago. Yeah.
I see. How did you guys like find each other?
I asked a friend of mine who's a producer, like, hey, I need an artist. Do you know anybody? And he just said, well, whatever. He sent me a portfolio of random students from, what was your university called?
High School of Economic.
High School of Economic. So, and there was a lot of portfolios in there, and most of them were terrible. Most of them were like collages, artsy collages, but there was one portfolio which was called Fruity Monsters, I believe, which was anthropomorphic fruit monsters with big eyes. And I was like, all right, now this is getting somewhere. And so I found Natasha on Russian version of Facebook, ВКонтакте, message her and say, hey, you want to make a video game? And she's like, yeah, I want to get paid. I like money. And that's when the star team aligned.
My biggest motivation.
The money.
The money, that's all that you do it for? Because we actually had one person from Discord also asks, like, do you love money?
I do.
You do, okay.
Mostly because, and not very well, because I never had much of them. Hence why I love it so much.
Okay, tell me about some of the budget cuts that you maybe had to undertake while developing Peppered.
I mean, like pretty much most of the development time we had to live like months and just take any cuts that we can from our like personal life. So if we possibly can just stop eating food and paying for it, we would do that. So yeah.
I remember something about a fridge.
Yes, a fridge or the lack thereof for 6 months straight when we arrived to Berlin. Yeah, that's one of the budget cuts that we had.
Okay, was there also a budget cut on coffee, or was that consistent throughout?
No, actually, no. Natasha somehow managed to get off the caffeine addiction. I didn't.
Okay.
So,
how many cups of coffee do you think were consumed throughout like Peppered's development?
count 1 per day and multiply it by 2, then by 3 years of development.
We don't know how to count.
We don't. That's why we don't have money.
Fair enough, then I won't put you on the spot. Coming back to the anthropomorphic character.
Furries.
Thank you. What inspired you?
I think, firstly, it was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Because that was my childhood. And I found beautiful community in this. And it's still my friend during all this time. And yeah, that's it. That's how I find this furry community.
Okay.
And I like it.
Nice.
And I found Natasha. I guess marrying Natasha made me a furry as well, just automatically.
That's how it works.
It spreads like a disease.
2 furries combined, developing Peppered. I have another question from the Discord community. Davey the Duck was asking, is there any backstory to the Star Thief, or are they more like a blank slate for the player?
They're more like a blank slate because that's easier to write. Well, no, actually, because initially I wanted the character to be as blank as possible, mostly to make the player focus on the choices that they can make and the consequences of thereof. And people usually tend to say like, hey, blank characters are way better for immersion. And I guess I believed in that. And technically, it is true. It is quite immersive, though in the future I would like to make more characters with backstories, with their own motivation, etc. Because I think it doesn't really spoil the immersion if the character is written well.
Yeah.
So
maybe like in Mass Effect, where you can, for example, choose the backstory and the origin of the character to like already give a direction.
Yeah, I mean, actually, Mass Effect is a good example because Mass Effect is really good and really immersive, like especially story-wise. So yeah, and actually, Starfield kind of, as the game progresses, gets more and more character traits and quietly moves away from being a blank slate character. But you will see that in the full game.
The community demands to know, why is a game called Peppered? Like, what even is a Peppered? And also, what is an existential platformer?
I mean, I cannot answer why it's called Peppered because that would be a spoiler. And people already, on Discord as well, you guys have been giving me shit for spoiling a lot of stuff. So why would I spoil this as well? You would have to play the game to find out why it's called Peppered. And why is it existential? It's existential because the themes and stories that we raise in the game, which I think already shows in a demo, but it becomes way, way, way more apparent in the full game.
Next question. Davey the Duck wants to know, what was the biggest risk you took?
I think starting the game was the biggest risk now, because
We leave our jobs.
leave our jobs, emigrate to Europe, because Peppered is like our first title. So with no prior experience in video game industry, starting your own video game company and pouring a lot of money into it, I would say that was the biggest risk by default. As for the creative decisions in the game, I don't know. I was always kind of pretty confident and sure of what I want to do with the game, so no risk involved there.
Okay. What is something you wish you would have known before and maybe would have done differently, knowing what you know now?
Development-wise,
Good question.
I would probably say don't assume it would take so little time. It always takes way, way, way more time than you think it will. So I guess I would lower my expectations for the timeline. Other than that, I wouldn't change anything really, because I would say I'm quite happy with how the game turned out to be. Despite how it's going, I don't know how the launch is going to go. I don't know how the release will and reception will go, but at the very least, I'm very happy with how the game is. So I wouldn't change anything.
I mean, the game is your guys' baby, right? Like, what is the most personal element in Peppered for you?
That's a good question. Because I think it's the story, because in pretty much every single character and every single story beat, I put something from the personal life. It's that being either something I stress over or something from my prior experience in life, whatever. So the story, I would say, is the most personal aspect for the game, from the game for me.
I see. And for you, Natasha?
For me, I think it's visual language, because I can do everything like I want and nobody can stop me.
Right.
Every characters can looks like exploding chihuahua or something like that, and everything can be brightness, cartoony, and yeah.
Do you have
that's
a favorite level or a favorite character that you designed?
I love all my characters.
All of them equally? They're all your babies?
All my babies.
Okay.
I mean, that's one of the good things of having your own studio and your own game desk. Yeah, there's almost no creative control over your creations, so you can just go nuts.
Yeah, for me it's Cynthia, for the record.
I know! You mentioned it multiple times, and you're actually, well, I would say you're in minority, because most people, apparently, at least from the demo, like Merdeka.
Okay, yeah, also understandable.
But yeah, she's one of the main characters, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, if that's what all of the normies like, then fine, yeah.
The normie, those goddamn normies in the furry community.
Speaking of furries, would you ever make plushies, if possible? I mean, we have these two here. Are you planning on making more?
Handmade.
Handmade. Who made those?
Me.
Okay, nice.
I mean, okay, you know my answer for this, because you don't want to make physical rewards or physical things that you need to ship out ever again. So if somebody wants to do it for us, no problem. Because I would like a plushie. I would like a Star plushie, actually.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
And you would like a Cynthia plushie.
Now that you mention it, yeah, why not?
A full body size?
Yeah, actually, make it a pillow. All right, we have a couple of questions about the future of Peppered. What are you planning to do after the game releases?
I mean, it's heavily based on how the game will, on the reception. But having said that, no matter what happens next, I don't want to do no sequels, no DLCs, no prequels, no nothing. Maybe we, I mean, like merch, sure, like an art book or something. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, I would like to make a cassette tape with a soundtrack.
Okay.
Maybe plushies. But as far as the game goes, yeah, no DLCs, no sequels, no nothing.
All right. So this is the full Peppered experience.
Yeah, I mean that's how I believe it should be actually. That you buy a game and it has everything you need to experience all of it.
Okay.
Because it tells us its story well, and then it has to end basically. And
What
we
about modding though? Would you let the community like mod the game to their wishes?
They already did.
Okay.
We were in fact on our Discord we have a mods tab, and somebody for some reason did mods where you can play is incredibly enlarged Star Thief.
How important was the community's involvement like throughout the development?
How important?
Yeah, like for example, how did they add to the development of Pepper?
I would say they are vital, if I'm being completely honest, because I think things like Pepper mostly survive on the communities, on fans who create fan art, mods who run the discussions. So I would say, first of all, the community so far was lovely and pretty chill bunch, and I like them. And yeah, I would say they're extremely important because they're the ones who are prolonging the lifetime of a game. So pretty important. What do you think about our community?
What the question was?
Maybe how do you feel about some of the art that the community has created so far?
Oh, I like fan art. My biggest dream, make my OC the main character of the second game, so people can draw fan art on my personal OC.
OC is the original character.
I'm absolutely love it.
We actually saved every single fan art that people have sent us.
I printed a picture of the very first fan
Yes.
art, in case you guys remember.
I do remember this one, and I still have it actually. Somebody sent this on Twitter. What the fuck is that, bro?
All right. Thank you for joining me again.
I was here, bro.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean joining you again? I've been here all this time.
Let's jump to some questions from the Twitter community. Let's see what they want to know.
For all the difference that makes, yeah.
So, Workana on Twitter is asking, have there been any times you've been surprised by your own work? Like, has it made you laugh or shocked that you made something so complicated?
Actually, yeah, there were quite a few scenes, and you can tell when I enjoy writing, when I'm just giggling to myself alone in a room like a maniac.
Vasha do it all the time, just smiling on their own jokes.
Which is pathetic, I agree. But that's at least I don't know that the scene works. It was when I was like, holy shit, that was good, bro, that was good. Which is self-congratulating. I agree, but it is what it is. So
I mean, I have to say you nailed the humor. Like the very first time when I played the early Office section, I was also laughing my ass off. Plus, I've been at plenty video game conferences where Peppered had a booth and it like was on display. And I don't know, every second person who played the game like was laughing while they were playing. So that's definitely a testament to the humor being on point.
I guess, and that also comes from the place of spite, because you might tell from the writing, but I did work in the office at one point, which I hated it. I guess my feelings about the office and just life in general seeped through. So
yeah, what's your beef with PowerPoint presentations?
I fucking hate it. What do you
What's
mean?
wrong with them?
Because people make me do it. I don't know. It's mostly about not the PowerPoint presentations, if I'm being honest, and mostly people just randomly putting you in a place of responsibility for shit you did not ask for
Right.
at all.
And then jumping through a window and fucking off.
That's also something we can all relate to.
Right. So, next question. Let's go for another one from Twitter. What was the thought process when designing the Star Thief? So that's one for you, Natasha. They seem to be a mix of what looks like many animals, so I'm curious on how they were made. Also love.
Can you answer this question?
No, this is you. Go for it. You got it, girl.
When we designed this character, plot was different. So the situation was completely not the same. It was like beach, whereas a lot of rain. So we have a yellow raincoat. And I think if I would like change something in the game, I would like to change main character outfit or design, because it's a little bit not fit in the office atmosphere, but it's pixel 2D and it's not easy to change everything, because if, for example, it will be 3D, we can just redo the model and yeah.
And what kind of programs are you using to like make all of the art, or I don't know, write down the script, the development? Where do you like, which tools do you use to work?
For me, it's only Photoshop.
Only Photoshop.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it's like for development, because I do a lot of stuff. So for development specifically, I use Unity. I program in C# on Visual Studio. And I also use like Photoshop. I also use Adobe After Effects and Premiere, because I also run our social campaigns and whatnot. And as for designing the game, I just use pen and paper, because since we don't have that big of a team, really, I don't have to communicate a lot of stuff to anybody. I can just write it all down. And
In these notebooks? Or-
yes,
Okay.
these are specific. I don't know. I don't know which one we can show, because most of them would be spoiler territory. Oh no, this is a Murdeka boss fight actually. Here you go. The very first that you can play in a demo. I wrote it all down years ago. So yeah, pen and paper is the best way to go. And also, since I can get distracted pretty
Oh
easily
yeah, this is
by
the apology letter scene.
yes,
Yeah.
I believe I wrote it while I was in Turkey actually on
In
holiday.
Turkey. Okay.
So everything I can, I just write in the notebook, because I get way less distracted by pretty much everything.
I see. Cool. Nice. Tell me a little bit about the design of the Star Thief in the office still. Like they're sitting on their chair, like all cramped up. What's that about?
Actually, the reason why they initially were in the chairs and just moving by, like scooting along, is basically because we didn't want to animate them walking. So I figured,
Yes, I
like,
hate animation, animated.
so
I hate it. It's so boring.
So I thought, okay, well, how can we cut corners here in a creative way? So I was like, all right, let's just let them just scoot in chairs, and that became a gag, and we just ran with it. So,
Nice.
and like I said, like Natasha said, initially Starfield design was for a different kind of a plot, because the plot went through a lot of drafts. So I rewrote a ton of stuff, like every single dialogue line, every single story beat was rewritten at least 3 times, every single one. So that's why kind of Starfield doesn't fit in the office settings, but they do look goofy, and the game does lean a bit into a goofy territory, with both with its tone and with the main character.
I see. So the story took a lot of changes and turns, but the art as well. Like, talk to me a little bit about that, about some of the big changes that were perhaps made throughout the development on the art side. Because I know that, for example, the entire office setting was renewed at some point as well. Like, what drove you to make those changes? What did you want to make better or make different?
The main thing is we did this project really long amount of time. So when I started, I was low skill, and in 3 years, for example, I can't see it anymore. It's too much ugly. So I decided to redesign and redraw everything, because I can't.
It's interesting because if we keep the office as it was in the initial demo that we showed, the game would look just weird, because it started off this extremely primitive, like flat colors and whatnot, no details and no animations, and then suddenly it has all of it.
Right.
It would look inconsistent, so we had to redraw the demo pretty much from scratch, because Natasha's skill improved dramatically over the years.
Is there a part of the game that you're bored of playing because you had to play it so many times in a row?
Every
Office.
single one.
For me, it's Office.
Really?
Yeah.
I played the entire game. I don't even know how many times. I seen every single scene in the game like hundreds of times, hundreds, and I can't even stand it anymore at this point.
Is there a section where you think to yourself like, damn, I really hate myself for developing this and now I have to playtest it and it's a fucking tough part?
No, because I played it so many times I just can autopilot like speedrun it. I can complete the whole game like in an hour because I'm just but doesn't make it any more fun, I would say.
How long do you think it would take like a professional speedrunner to finish Pepper?
Professional speedrunners? I don't know, 2 seconds. They're insane. Speedrunners are a different breed.
Okay.
Those are people who can like spend years finding like glitch hunting and
Right.
any cuts they can find, they will. So, and that would be really interesting to watch. Like I'm eager to see how speedrunners do because they are insane and I love them for it.
But obviously for speedrunners it's a bit tricky because I mean there's different endings in Pepper, so like what is the official run? But how many endings will there actually be? Is that something you can tell us?
There will be multiple endings. I'm not sure if we can, because again, I'm afraid people will scream at me if I will straight up tell the number. But there are a few.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right, next question. Let's go for another Twitter question, shall we? What was the most unexpected thing while developing the game? As in, what's something that happened that you didn't expect? And how did you overcome/deal with it? And this is a question from Cloudy.
Our marriage?
Yeah.
Our marriage was the most unexpected thing in development, and I'm not sure I'm still over it. I'm still happy as I can be 6 years
How did
later.
you deal with it?
I didn't. So what do you mean? She proposed and I was like, hell yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
You're the one who proposed?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Where did you propose?
In bed. In
In bed.
casual.
Okay, did you have a ring?
That was
Or
What?
did you have a ring and everything? Or how
Yes,
did
of
you
course. She just pulled it out of the sheet, yeah, and she just made it out of the carton board.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
here you go.
nothing.
Okay. Did you guys have a wedding party?
No,
So wedding party
I'm
when?
too autistic for parties, sorry.
no, we hate parties, and we cannot deal with a lot of people, so we just did it. It was just the two of us. I think we went to Paris to celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
So Paris and Nice went to. So we just spent like I think 2 weeks in France.
Tell me a bit about the different places you were at, like while developing Pepper.
Oh God. So for context, most of the game that we were developing, like the major progress that we did after the war started, right? So after we had to emigrate.
You mean the war between Russia and Ukraine?
Yes.
Right. Uh-huh.
So, and we're originally from Russia, so we kind of had to run. And most of the things we did while like hopping from country to country until we resolved our visas
Mhm.
for Germany. And we've been to like Armenia, Georgia, in Turkey. And we even, I think that's when we launched our Kickstarter campaign. So while we were launching our Kickstarter campaign and showing the game through like mainly beta sale and whatnot, in the background we were living on our suitcases, traveling from place to place. There was one point I think I would have made a couple of levels while I was sitting in a car, like in the
Damn.
in the back compartment, like in the back.
Yeah.
So we saw quite a few countries.
Did you get inspired by any of the locations where you were at?
I mean, it's not so much by the location that I was at, but just the general like situation. I think made me way more cynical, and I think that reflects a lot in the writing. So, which is one of the reasons why the game gets quite darker than the demo and way more dramatic, but in a good way. I think it still balances out the goofiness and dramatic aspects of it rather well.
Nice. You also attended plenty of video game conferences in the last year.
That was first, yeah. I've never been to any events before Peppered,
Mhm.
like at all. And I think you were in Dubrovnik with me. That was the best one, the reboot when You just show the game to people. You just stare at the gorgeous sea, right? And you occasionally go to drink cocktails. So that was nice.
Yeah.
I would love to go again.
Are you?
If we have money for it, sure.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. What were some of the places where you traveled to throughout the development of Peppered? What were maybe some of your favorite places?
Your mom's house.
Nice.
Sorry, bro.
You're 5 minutes left, by the way.
Okay. Did you ever have to write an apology letter to leave your work?
Actually, that's a thing in Russia. Yeah. Well, if you leave early from work, like before, you kind of have to write like an explanation letter to your boss as why you're leaving
On a normal work day?
on a normal work day.
Okay.
Like if you're leaving earlier than you're supposed to. That's not a thing I made up. That's an actual thing. So it is so absurd. I just had to put it in. And I mean, I make fun of bureaucracy a lot because I hate it. So had to make a puzzle out of it.
What inspired you to come up with the Merdeka character?
Well, obviously, I needed a character who is like sticks to the rules as much as possible and afraid to break any of them, just to juxtapose the free-spirited main character who just does whatever they want. So, as a contrast, I need the character like a complete opposite to the Star Thief, and the police officer was like an obvious choice from the get-go, because who else would A, be in conflict with someone like Star Thief, and B, would follow the rules religiously? Cops, obviously.
And what about the backstory for Theodore Glagolev? Like, how much can you tell us about him?
Again, spoiler territory, so let's put this question to bed. Let's just imagine that it's a funny Super Mario kind of parody character.
Okay, I hope the next question doesn't delve into spoiler territory as well, but what was the inspiration behind the fermented butt sweat drink?
People haven't seen it actually yet, but the inspiration, the actual energy drinks people have in the real world. I just say how it is, okay? It tastes like fermented butt sweat with syrup.
What was the name of the drink again in the game?
TOG.
TOG?
TOG, like Fyodor G.
I see. All right. What was the founding of Mostly Games like? What kind of advice can you maybe give to some aspiring game developers?
Find somebody like Timo who will do it for you. And this is the best advice I can give you, because German bureaucracy is a nightmare. I don't want to deal with it. I don't understand it at all. So you better find some people who will deal with it for you.
What can you tell me about this picture? What can we see here?
We can see 4 people doing the most regrettable decision of their lives and founding the Mostly Games company after like how many? It took us a year, right? This is why I'm saying find a person who can help you with this, because it took us a year to found the company, to lay down all the rules of how it operates, how we'll split the shares, what the responsibility of who, and I would never have done it without your and Camille's help, like at all, because I'm mostly a creator side in Mostly Games. So having somebody who knows A, how to do marketing, B, how to do bureaucracy, helps out.
Bureaucracy, I love that.
How to do it. How do you do it, right?
Yeah. And what can you tell the community about the actual founding of the company? Do you remember the meeting with the notary?
It was absurd. Like all the notary was extremely fancy. It was like in near the Brandenburg gates, right? So it was extremely fancy, with columns, with marble floor, and a very self-important person in a suit whose entire, like, he has the power over people's fates just by virtue of being able to sign a piece of paper.
So romantic.
It is insane. It is mental, because it also cost us, how much money did it cost us to?
I think it cost us enough. But for me, what I remembered from that moment was how fast the guy spoke. Because when you're founding a company, you're reading through the entire founding document, so all of the rules and agreements that you make amongst each other, and a lot of that is standard. So he knows it, and he's just like all in German, by the way.
All in
Was
German.
Insane.
And not only that, but again, imagine this really big, nice office with marble floor, with huge windows that shows you the Brandenburg gates,
Yeah.
right?
Do you remember the scene?
And 4 nerds in front of a guy in a suit just going. It was surreal.
Yeah. Do you remember the video footage of Michael Jackson like holding his baby out of the window and showing it to the world?
Yeah, is that what you did to me, or?
I mean, that's kind of where we founded mostly games.
Oh, you mean like how we were holding out the piece of paper, like? I was thinking more like a Lion King, showing the Simba to the world.
What about this picture? What can you tell me about this picture? What's going on here?
I have no idea who are those people. No, actually, this is why this picture out of all of them? This was just an event in Berlin where I streamed the game with a couple of people who run the event, and it was alright. I mean, we did pretty good, but
This was at the Games Ground event, I believe, right?
yeah, it doesn't really stand out from any other like event. I would say Dubrovnik was better. So
Okay, fair enough. How about this piece of art? What can you say about this piece of art?
the Rule 34. Oh, you censored it. Whoever commissioned
So
it.
good, so good. I like it.
Here's what I say about this picture. It's the first one out of many that are yet to come. And I'm fine with that because I guess that's how internet shows its love. Because that's how you know people like the game.
Nice.
Is when they start making porn out of it. This is not the only one though. The Rule 34 has some fan art, as people have been inclined to inform me about.
Right. All right, people, now you know. Can you give us the backstory
Of that picture? No, I can't.
Sorry, yeah, no, segue. Can you give us the backstory of and sorry for my mispronunciation, Zamioculcas plant that is referenced in the office?
Oh yeah. Do you want to explain it?
You.
Okay. There's a joke in a game that says, "Hey, this is a Zamioculcas plant," and legend says that if your wife learned its name, it's gonna make you your cute nickname for a couple of months. And the backstory is that's actually what happens. Natasha just learned the word randomly, and that became my nickname for a couple of weeks for whatever reasons. And I guess I don't know, why did I put it in the game anyway?
Because
Explain my behavior.
We need some plants, and I draw Zmiakulkas.
Oh yeah. And that was when you were still calling me that,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So the reason is autism.
Wonderful. Are you both on the spectrum?
I'm not sure I am. What about you? Where on the spectrum are you?
Beep. We'll be back after this short transition. How did you integrate some of the Kickstarter backers into the game?
That was not easy at all because some characters was maybe too much has too much details, so I need to stylizate everyone. But it's funny, I like it. And someone from them, my favorite now, for example, I really like Opossum or
Okay.
yeah, or Fish Ladies. Fish Lady and her baby. I like how they turn out.
They did take a lot of work because personally I didn't think it would be fair for people to pay so much money for a custom NPC and then have their NPC just saying 1 or 2 dialogue lines. So I had to figure out a way to integrate each and every one of them in more like creative ways. So now some of them have fetch quests, some of them have like mini games or whatever. Some of them appear like in major cutscenes or whatever. So, but figuring out which characters and how to fit every single character was a really difficult task. And people were asking about like interesting characters. One of the backers actually asked for a chair to be a character. So we made an entire like a level with a couple of cutscenes with a creepy chair.
I like this.
It's
Really funny.
Somebody actually asked for this, and that's how we integrated it through a secret level, because I guess there's no other way to integrate it other
Okay,
than
that's
that.
random.
So,
Nice.
so making digital rewards is also was very hard, because it took a lot of work and a lot of passing assets back and forth, like figuring out where to put the character, how they would play in the full game, etc., etc. But overall, I'm happy with the results.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Okay. Can we expect a console release?
I would hope so. If the game does well, I would love to port it on consoles. Specifically, I would love to port it on Switch. And you know what would be even cooler? Not only to port it, but have a physical copy of it. Like if we port it on Switch, I would love to have it like a box with the little chip the Nintendo Switch has. That would be dope.
Can you play the game on Steam Deck already?
Yes, you can play it with whatever controller you want, and you can play it on Steam Deck. We tried it already, it plays perfectly.
Cool. April 7th is kind of an important day for you guys. What should people do on April 7th?
What are we gonna do?
What should people do?
Buy the game. What do you mean? Buy the game, spread the word, and also join us on the stream. I think we should do a stream like 1 hour countdown before we release the game. So join us and we can speak live, and I can answer all these questions all over again, but this time with less post magic that you will do on this video.
Yeah,
I will
totally.
be just sitting in the corner.
In the corner, just screaming at the camera, screeching.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for your time. I do have one more thing.
You're just gonna throw something in my face?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's black soup.
Is it black soup?
So, are we still recording?
Yeah.
How good is your spice tolerance?
Oh, it's pretty bad, I would say.
You tried to kill my husband. You tried to kill my husband.
Yours is better?
No,
Who
actually.
can handle the spiciest food between the two of you?
I think I actually had a period in time when I was in Turkey, right? I had just this major like hot sauces craving. So I started eating a lot of hot sauces, like just heaps of it. For example, we ordered like a seafood pizza, right? And I just poured almost an entire bottle over the pizza. So back then I had very good tolerance for spices because I built it up properly. But now I think it's all gone to shit. So, oh, you protected me.
How about, as a bit of B-roll footage later on, we have Natasha or you, like, eating a piece of a pepper.
Or you, maybe.
Why me?
Oh, give me one.
You're a vegan, it's vegetable.
Let's fucking go. Which is the least deadliest one? Confess.
Green one.
I think there's only one way to find out. Shall we zoom a bit?
This looks dangerous.
Yeah. No. Green one, no?
I think
No.
this is a jalapeno, no?
That's a jalapeno.
Jalapeno is pretty fucking, pretty fucking hot. So
Okay, goodbye. He was a good husband.
for the content, you know, I always thought that I can do the Hot Ones interviews.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I can do a Hot Ones interview. Blah.
Alright, is the relationship between Star Thief and Merdeka inspired by your relationship with each other? And if so, in what ways?
It was me and no, it isn't.
No.
It is inspired by.
He's dying. What did you do?
It isn't inspired by my relationship with Natasha. It's inspired by my relationship with myself. Fucking hell.
Alright, let me join you.
And I thought I deluded myself thinking I can do a hot ones
I'll go
interview.
for this one.
This one's harder though. I believe this one's harder.
So, oh yeah, it is.
It is fucking. I knew it. I knew it.
Natasha,
Yeah.
tell us about the time you got rabies.
Oh,
Rabies. Бешенство.
one day I was in Georgia and I just walked with puppy of my friend, and the dog street dog tried to kill it, the little puppy, and I just tried to protect. I can't. You look so funny. I just tried to protect a little dog, and someone, other dog, bite me. But everything okay.
Can you show your bite mark?
No, now it's normal.
Well, you still have a scar.
No, I think no. Just
Oh yeah, you can still see it. Damn.
yeah,
Do you
We
still
had-
love dogs?
absolutely.
We had to take how many rabies shots did you took?
4, I think, or 5.
5, 4 in Georgia, and the final one in Germany, which German doctors were extremely surprised by. Like they'd never seen anybody get bitten by a dog before, so they were like, "A rabies shot? What?" I said, 90
What are some of your favorite?
rabies shots.
What do you hate and what do you love about living in Germany?
Specifically, I love living in Berlin because it is extremely A, liberal, and B, it's like this crockpot of almost every culture that you can ever want, all in one place. So, which speaks to me. As for the part that I hate about Germany is obviously the bureaucracy, because it is just ungodly here. And if I ever leave Germany, it would be because of that. Because after going through German immigration services, I don't think I'm scared of anything at all anymore. Like ever. Like
Okay,
you
fair
can
enough.
scare me all you want with the Judgment Day. I seen German immigration services.
For me, I like freedom, and people can look like. Oh my god.
We can dress.
I'm tired.
You try.
I forgot how to speak English.
Try it, Pepper.
I don't really want. For me, I really like freedom, and that fact that people can look like in every way.
Mhm.
And I hate weather here because I really like sun, and Germany not that country.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine during summer. Though the winter here, it's quite depressing. But luckily, since we're in Europe, we can
All
just
right, we
go
started
anywhere.
talking about the weather, so I think that's a good end to the interview.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for
Try
having
more
us.
peppers, bro.
Thank you very much for coming over.
Thank you. for having
Any
me.
final words you want to say to the community watching out there?
For the community, thank you everybody for all the questions. I know these aren't all of them. These aren't all the questions that you sent. I may answer them like directly on Discord or whatever, but in any case, thank you so much for your undying support. And like I said, games like Pepper survive on communities, and there's no way of getting around it. We would not be here without your support, and it means a lot to us. I cannot stress this enough that your support really does mean a lot to us. So stay tuned, and the release will be quite soon, April 7. Unless, of course, we somehow screw up the release of the video, it comes out after we already posted the game, in which case, hey, how's it going? Hello to the future.
All right.
I want to go home.
She want to go home.
Since both of you now finished the development of Peppers, we actually got you a little gift.
You're firing us.
Yes. But before we do that, yeah, we wanted to give you a little something, and that little something. Just get this out of the way.
The porn image?
That little something is right behind you. In fact, you're leaning on it.
Patrick the Star?
Well, not the
This
plush.
is everything I dreamed of. Oh, thank you so much.
It's below the
Yeah, it's below. You gotta dig a little deeper than that.
Oh my god.
Are you for real? Oh my god.
It's a treasure.
Can we just take the entire, like, the... How do you call it? The chest?
Yes, that is exactly what you can do.
Please do it yourself.
Oh my god! It's those
So
cupcakes!
nice.
Oh my god! I'm afraid to destroy it. Look at this!
Yes, that is good.
Oh god! How did you make those?
I mean, we didn't make them ourselves.
Well, I mean, I know, but it's like, how? How did you make this? Where did you... Oh, Jesus Christ, thank you so much. This is so cool!
I want to take it home.
I want to take it home. Do you want to take some?
You
Of
know that?
course.
Do you want to eat them?
Yeah, I don't think they understand. I don't
For
think
you.
they know. Basha, do you remember that you once told me that at some point you would want to own a nice big chest to store all of your peppered memorabilia?
Well, you have a big chest now!
Are you fucking
The
kidding me?
entire thing is yours.
Are you for real?
Yes.
I like it.
Now you just gotta get a new flat to fit the chest.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
You're very welcome.
How did you get the thing? I didn't even, I thought something was off, like what was happening, but I didn't question it.
I traveled back to 1773, stole the chest.
Careful with your head.
Yes, you can definitely fit it there.
Yeah, we can do them both actually. You okay? Yeah? Not twice if you're okay. She's not okay. No, she's dead!
Well, congratulations. You're now the owner of a big ass treasure chest.
How the fuck can we carry it back to our apartment now?
Well, that's not my problem.
Yeah, it's apparently it's not. This is not my responsibility.
You can store it in the office for a little bit longer.
Do you all want to take cupcakes?
Yeah, I think
Let's
we
go-
should leave it
let's go
here.
eat some cupcakes
That's-
right now. What do you mean?
Any,
I want to take a photo. So nice.
This is so gorgeous, man. How much did it
I
cost?
want to.
$1 million.
Oh no, for real? How much? This looks expensive as shit.
You're so cute. Yeah.
This is an actual book, no? Is it?